You talk about a great deal of uncertainty in your models, particularly around energy prices, but are there any scenarios you've looked at that are not catastrophic for the least well-off in society and pretty devastating even for average earners in the next couple of years?
Well, you make a very important point, Paul, and we've talked about this in the past, but it's important to re-emphasise it, that inflation that is concentrated amongst what we might call the essentials in consumption baskets, obviously of which energy is a very important part, as food is another important part of that, hits those who are least well off and have lowest incomes the hardest. And you can see this by looking at the different consumption baskets across deciles of household income in the household survey. So we're very conscious of this, and I said in my opening remarks, this is a very uncomfortable situation to be in. We're very aware of the impact it has, therefore, on those who are least well off. What I would emphasise or re-emphasise is a point I made in my opening remarks, and it's this. If we don't bring inflation back to target, bearing in mind the huge scale of the energy shock we're seeing, if we don't bring it back to target, and if we get these so-called second-round effects entering in, it's going to get worse. And it will get worse precisely, I'm afraid, for those who are least well off in society. So while I have huge sympathy and huge understanding for those who are struggling most with this, and I know that they will feel, well, why have you raised interest rates today? Doesn't that make it worse from that perspective in terms of consumption? I'm afraid my answer to that is it doesn't, because I'm afraid the alternative is even worse in terms of persistent inflation.